When you work in a 3D design, you're working in what's called the design cube. This is a space available in which you can place elements. Now, as you know from the previous videos, this is a very large flat area in two-dimensional terms. In three-dimensional terms, however, we're now talking about a volume which actually is equally large, and you don't need to worry about exceeding the design boundary. What's much more important is how MicroStation sees the design cube, especially in terms of the orientation of the drawing's axes. Now, it's very helpful to visualize the design cube from a 2D point of view and then from a 3D point of view. And to help things along, I have a drawing here which we'll have a look at. This is the 2D orientation, which you're quite familiar with from the previous videos. We're looking in top view, and we see the positive X and positive Y axes. Global origin is at the junction of those two axes, but we can't see the Z axis, which is smack in the middle there, and it's the slightly bluer color. That is coming directly out of the screen towards us. In fact, if you actually rotate a design, then you always rotate about the Z axis in a 2D drawing file. In contrast, a 3D drawing looks like this. We now have a design cube rather than a design plane, and we have the global origin at 0, 0, 0 in the center of the design cube. We again have the positive X axis and the positive Y axis. We also, of course, have the negative X and the negative Y, but we can see and work with the positive and negative Z axes. What's most important, however, is the way MicroStation sees the design cube. And what you're seeing on the screen right now is exactly how MicroStation sees it, and in fact from the direction of our view here. This in turn dictates what is visible in the 4 standard views that we saw earlier. And it's very important that you understand this orientation, because obviously it does determine how you work with the elements in MicroStation. Now in the next video, I'll take this subject a little deeper and explain how you see things in the various views. But before I do, I want to show you one small thing here, which relates to how you locate elements in the three-dimensional design cube. Now this drawing looks as though it's pretty much in order. The text is in place, the elements are in place, and it looks fairly good. However, if I rotate this view, then you'll see things a little differently. Look at the different elements as I rotate the drawing fairly slowly. Notice that some of the text is not in place or is at odd angles. Notice that some of the elements are not correctly in place as I rotate. This is one of the problems that you have to deal with when drawing and editing elements. It's vital that you locate elements in correct spatial relationships with other elements. This will become fairly obvious as we proceed through the videos, but initially it can be a bit of a problem if you're not paying attention. So let's move on to the next video where I'll describe what you see and why you see elements in the 4 different standard views.